Hi, I'm Adam Pennell. Welcome back to another episode of Cooking Something with me. Today, that something is going to be venison Wellington quesadilla. So this is just a little idea I've had in my head for a while, and I use these opportunities when I've got Tom here on the camera to allow me to cook something crazy that probably the family ain't going to eat, and it might not work, but you're on this journey with me anyway. I'm well lucky. That is my house, you can see there, just over that fence. And right behind it, we've got all this wild garlic growing, so I use it all the time. Today's dish is a venison Wellington burrito, which I've never heard of. It's something I've conjured up. And we're right at the end of the venison season right now, and the beginning of the wild garlic season, so it's like a clash of the titans. Just there's going to be a short window of time where you're still going to be able to get venison and the wild garlic's up. So this time of year, this is early March now, it's like at its best. It's really soft and supple. Right now, you can't smell that until you pick it. That end stinks. It smells good, but yeah, it's in season right now. Go out and get it. We've got this beautiful venison loin here, shot literally 3 days ago, apparently. Essentially what we're gonna do is take the probe here and take it into the thickest part of the meat, down to the line or just beyond, like so. So, today we're not cooking beef, pork, poultry, lamb, fish or a dinosaur, but other. Venison. I think probably steak. Yeah, it's saying 57 for, it recommends 57. We want it to do medium rare. So it's saying we're gonna stop it around about 57. Okay, so that's fine. We're gonna stick with that. Press start the cook, and that's it. We're pretty much just going to monitor what's going on. There's absolutely no fat on this. This is so lean, you know, like all wild meat, there's nothing on it. So we are going to have to make sure there's a little bit down on the grill when we start. And I'm just going to lay that down in that fat. You'll notice there's absolutely no seasoning on this whatsoever at this stage, right? We're going to add the seasoning later on. I've got some black pepper and some fennel here. Just going to drop it into a little pan here. Then we're going to add some salt. I'm also going to add in some rosemary as well, just because rosemary works so well with venison. I'll turn it over. I'm just going to keep this moving. Look at that caramelization. Absolutely beautiful. It's what we want. That kind of golden brown color, yeah, is where your flavor is at. So we've got to try and build up as much of that as we possibly can. On with our mushrooms now. Whole kilo of mushrooms looks a huge amount, right? But you trust me, these are going to go down to very little. Mushrooms are like sponges. They will kind of soak up anything you put on there. And then I'm going to add 50 grams of butter and just work them around on here. You can add a little bit of oil too to help things get moving along. It's all good. Look at that colour. Beautiful. I'm just going to prop up that other side against the pot here. It's quite nice raw, very, you know, tender. So we're going to use it in a little sort of chimmy garnish, but I'm also going to chop some up to go through the mushrooms now. So I'm going to take these off now. They're going to go straight into the pestle and mortar. I'm going to protect our mushrooms from going over because they're looking good now. Leave that on top just to melt down the sides. Just going to mop up those juices. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. So we've got our toasted spices, the fennel, the black pepper and the rosemary. I'm going to put a big pinch of salt on there now. So, just going to slowly break that down in the pestle and mortar. How delightful does that look? It's borderline almost being overdone, but look at it. That is where your flavour is at. 2 minutes remaining. We're just going to give it its first lick of this salt. We're going to give it a little bit more when it rests. Spices love fat. They'll burn much more quickly if they're not in the fat. So if you see any dry spices, that's why I'm moving it all around, allowing that to bed in. It's so close. Look at that, beautiful. Plenty more seasoning. Remember, there was none on it to begin with. None of it is soaked in, so I need to make sure that on the outside we're well covered. That'll be plenty. That can just rest. Okay, so we're gonna make a little sort of like an ode to a chimichurri, I guess. Gonna be hot, sort of sour, sweet, and kind of salty as well, to give that sort of heat, sweet, sour, salt balance that we always talk about. I'm gonna go in for a couple of chilies first. This is gonna just add a little bit of texture. Just half a red onion, then our wild garlic we picked earlier, but it's good. And what we're gonna do to knock a little bit of the sting out of it, I'm gonna hit it with a good glug, if I can open it, of red wine vinegar. And that's gonna sort of slightly pickle it. It's gonna be sat in this for probably 15-20 minutes before we use it. So about the same amount of runny honey, 2 tablespoons. We're gonna go in with some British rapeseed oil. Don't use olive oil when you've got this wonderful stuff being harvested all around us. No air miles, higher omega-3, higher smoking point. It's British, use it. Look at that, beautiful. So that is what we're gonna use to garnish our Burrito Wellington when it's ready. Right, we're ready to build. Shop bought wraps. Let's get a couple of these laid down. Blue cheese. Now this is the most beautiful Shropshire blue cheese. It's reeking blue from Moydens. Plenty of that in there. Then we're gonna go mushrooms on top. First layer. Flatten everything out. Right, so we're gonna take the probe out now. It's done its job, or hopefully. Place that in the middle, all right? And then we're gonna go with more mushrooms. Finally, more cheese. Go that way and that way. And then tuck that in and fold this over. My gosh, this is ridiculous. And there. And then I'm gonna spin it round so you can see. I'm gonna tuck everything in. Roll it, oh, 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 oh. Is it gonna go? Your guess is as good as mine. Packing it in real tight now. I think we've done it. Look at that. It's in. It's in, it's on. It's gotta go on. I reckon now if I seal that, we might be in for a win. Just have to have every faith now that that's doing the toasting. I'm gonna give it a little flip. I think there might be a tiny little hole underneath it, but I'm not worried about it. There we go. Right, I'm gonna attempt to crisp up these edges now. If it looks like it's gonna fall apart, I'm gonna stop. Oh, got a nice coloration there. Just a minute on either side. Oh yes, just one to go. And we have a fully toasted Bambi Burrito Wellington thingy. I reckon we're there. Now it's time for the big reveal. Oh, dear, dear, dear me. Look at that mushroomy blue cheese goodness coming out of there. I'm so excited. I'm gonna just scooch that back in. We're gonna slice it. And then we're just gonna topple them over. Oh, and the meat has done its job. That it looks perfectly cooked to me, just how we want it. And then finally, of course, I'm gonna hit it with some vibrancy, some color. I've had this in my head for ages, and now I've made it, and I get to try it. Look at that. Oh, it's a little bit messy. Probably should be eating it with a knife and fork, but hey. Mmm. Mmm. My God, that's everything I want to eat right now. Look how well cooked. I mean, I know I've chewed it up, but look how you couldn't tell because of all the sauce just how beautifully cooked that venison is. But It is literally like butter in your mouth. Mmm. Mmm. So damn good. Everything going on there. This might have to appear on my menu at Embers, I reckon, at some point. Would you come and have this for Sashera? If you would, please tell me so in the comments. If you like what you've seen today, please like, subscribe, tell me what you thought, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.